So one lesson I would pass to future generations would be to not be so serious and like take life like, I don't know, like laugh more and like don't take things so seriously that don't like need the energy, I guess, because I don't know, I just like tend to get wrapped up in little things like thoughts and stuff.
So the most important lesson I want to pass on to future generations is that it's okay to be yourself, because in society today there's a lot of like fake people, and people would sacrifice like their own personalities just to be like cool or do their own thing, when in actuality they're just hurting themselves. And it's a whole like social media thing where like they idolize like fake people, or like they see the best of people's lives and not the worst, and they think their lives suck, and they try to change themselves all the time. But when in actuality they're okay being who they are, even if they think it might not be like the coolest thing, or it might be like off color. It really like shows someone's character where they really are themselves, even though like society might deem that as like uncool or just not fun.
Okay, so the most important lesson that I want to pass on to future generations is to be yourself, because I feel like especially in college, you're kind of like looking at all these cliques and like you want to be in the special groups and stuff. But I feel like if you just be yourself and do not care what anyone else thinks, you'll be the most comfortable, you'll be the most successful, and everything that goes along with that. If you just be yourself and not like have let social media impact you and all that stuff, because honestly it just makes you feel worse about yourself. So you honestly need to strive for your goals by being yourself, because I think that's the best way to do that.
Lesson I want to pass on to future generations is to try everything, and like even if you don't get in or whatever, just don't give up.
Okay, I think it's really valuable to always be an active learner, so constantly seeking out new information and being open to new ideas, even like challenging your personal schemas and like your own personal opinions with other opinions is really valuable, because it causes you to grow as a person and obviously learn new information. And if you're always learning, you're always growing as a person. So I would say like higher education and just like new experiences are really important.
So to me, the most important lesson that I want to pass on to future generations is that we always make an impact on everyone, whether it's purposeful or not. So whenever we are being ourselves every day, it should always be with care, with integrity, and that we're responsible for actions, so we always have to take account for those actions. And kindness is an important thing, and being courageous as well. So we just have to be vulnerable to the fact that we are making an impact on other people, and other people are making an impact on us. So whenever we are making an impact on other people, to just be very truthful about ourselves.
Oh, hey y'all, it's Anna Velasquez, and I'm from Sugar Land, Texas. That's right, we eat a lot of sugar in Texas where I'm from. When I'm not in Sugar Land, I be writing down my pharmacology notes. That's right, yeehaw, have a good one.
A lesson I would like to pass on to future generations is to speak up for yourself and defend yourself, because being an activist or being passionate about what you love is very important, and it's how it gets the job done.
I think the lesson that I would pass on to future generations would be to just be kind to one another, and just like the butterfly effect, if you do one act of kindness, then it could ripple down to other acts of kindness and just create like a happy environment.
Okay, hi, it's Kay. One lesson I would want to pass on to future generations would be to, support gender equality. It's something I'm passionate about, and I feel like in the near future we're going to be kind of reaching towards everyone being a feminist, hopefully, and it's just better to, support one another and everyone be equal. So, yeah.
Lesson I think I'd want to pass on to future generations is like the idea of acceptance, because I feel like as I've grown up, I've like seen the younger kids struggle with like accepting people, and then you see that effect on other kids, and it's really detrimental like for their future. And I think it's important to start that early on and realize everyone's the same, everyone's going through the same stuff, and like we need to accept early.
Okay, the most important lesson I want to pass on to future generations is to not stay in the social media bubble. You should just put yourself out there and try new things, help out the community and environment, and whenever you can. Just don't stay on your phone, don't worry about your appearance. That's what I did as a child. Just get out of that, and that's my best advice.
I think a really important lesson is just empathy and really trying to understand where other people are coming from and trying to learn the experiences or why they hold the values that they hold, and just trying to relate to other people. Yeah.
I would definitely say I feel like personally in society today there's a lot of separation and there's a lot of hostility, and so I would probably just say to future generations, or a lesson I would want to pass down is to just like love each other, and like it's hard for there to be like peace or for things to really, I don't know how to say, like to have a unified, like to feel unified is hard if everyone's always like on different sides. And so I just feel like we have a lot of that now, and it's kind of sad. So I would pass down to just be nice, be kind.
What's up, Bromigos? It's your favorite URAG lifeguard, Timothy McClure. I'm gonna be trying out a new protein bar. That I just got. I'm supposed to be on shift, watching the water, but gotta do what I gotta do to get the subscribers.
I'd want future generations to know that it's okay to try out new things. Like, it's scary going outside your comfort zone. I know I'm scared of it too sometimes, but like, if they let go and like just do what interests them, they'll have like honestly some of the best memories they've ever made. I know I have.
Okay, so a lesson that I would want to pass on to future generations is that no matter what differences you might have, whether it be like a mental disorder or like some type of illness or like literally anything, it doesn't make you any less of a person or just less worth it or anything. Like, you're just as great as everybody else in this world, and so like it's not even anything to worry about.
Okay, the most important lesson I want to pass on to future generations is to take care of our planet, because we only have one, and if we don't take care of it, then I didn't think this through. There is no planet B. Take care of the environment to prevent, wow, I really didn't think this through. Okay, just take care of the environment.
Okay, one lesson I would want to pass on is that you only regret the chances that you don't take, and that you shouldn't be afraid to like be yourself. So go out there, join what you have to, like what you want to, and kind of be yourself, and don't be worried about either not having friends or having friends. Like, enjoy life. So yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I think I would pass on to future generations is to always like respect the people that teach you and the people that are like your elders, and like to always like, they give you so much advice throughout the way that like I think it's really important to respect them.
I think what I would want to pass on to future generations is just to tell everyone that they need to appreciate others for their differences, not like ridicule or separate like by what you like to do or your similarities. Like, it's important to branch out and appreciate different types of people, different races, different religions, and just really spread the diversity in your life in all different forms.
I think the most important lesson that I would want to pass on would probably be just understanding other people and like trying to see the other side of things, because I feel like a lot of issues could be solved by just other people kind of meeting in the middle and trying to understand the other person's point of view. And I think that gives you a lot of perspective, and just kind of being kind to one another and like showing them that even though you might differ in opinion, you still can see their side and understand them.
Hey Jill. What's up, bitch? Hi everyone, my name is Jill Smith. I'm the Vice President of PSP and the President of NSA. I forgot to take my lactate pills today, so I'll be right back.
One lesson I would want to pass on to future generations is to just kind of go out of your way and meet as many people as you can. It's really helped me from middle through high school and then again in college, especially in college, because joining as many organizations as you can just kind of makes you more an open-minded person and just kind of exposes you to different beliefs. And I think that the more diversity you're exposed to, you're gonna live a more well-rounded life. And yeah, that's what I tell the future generations.
One lesson that I would pass on to future generations is probably something to do with anxiety. I think as the world goes on, we're getting more stressed out because the world is also getting more stressful. I would say to think of things moment by moment and not let yourself get wrapped up in what's to come, because that can really dig you into a hole that you might not be able to get out of. So just kind of be with the people around you, and know that you yourself will be there for every moment in the future that may stress you out. It's not like it's gonna happen and you have to sit and watch it happen to you. Yeah.
All right, I'm ready. Okay, so I'd say one lesson that I would want to pass down to future generations is just to love the people that you care about and show them that you love them. Because a lot of relationships that we have are really valuable, and you don't really know how good they are until they're gone or you lose them. So I'd say just make sure the people that you care about know that you care about them. And yeah.
Hi. I would say that the most important lesson to pass on to future generations would be to take care of those around you and take care of the planet we get to live on. I feel like today it's just kind of like taken for granted how important kindness is and how everyone deserves to be treated in like with respect and what we like the way you would want to. So I think that's important. And also, like we all know, we only have one planet, and we have to do something to stop how bad it's getting before it gets too late.
Alright, so the lesson that I really want to pass on to future generations is to take every opportunity you can get. If it's like learning even a little bit of a new language, or like going and volunteering, or even like going and just like hanging out with some people you've never met before. I think it's really good to experience everything you can and like immerse yourself in as many cultures as you can, so you could get like a better view of the world, and maybe you can like have a bigger impact that way.
One lesson I would want to pass on to future generations is how important it is to help others and live a life full of love and compassion. And there's no reason for to bring hate into this world,
because at the end of the day, we're all human and we all just need to love each other and be compassionate for people who aren't like us and people who are like us, and understand that no matter what, if we come together, we can help make a change.
I would like to pass down onto future generations is love and acceptance of everybody. Just like stop being so hateful and just love each other. It would make everything really easy. I think that's it.
Claire, wake up.
It's not even 12 p.m.
If you could pass anything down to future generations, what would it be?
If you're not talking big booty, I don't want to talk.
One thing that I would tell the future generations is to take care of the planet. That I think that global warming and pollution and all other environmental problems are really, really important to fix. And I think that there have been some progress with our generation, but it's still nowhere near where it should be, and it's on the downswing. So I think that future generations should make sure to prioritize the environment and the planet and make sure that they're leaving the planet better than they found it.
So the lesson that I would want to pass on that's most important to me is that it's okay to be yourself, because someone who was so scared of being who she was for so long, after I finally came to realization that it's okay to be yourself, I have been 10 or 100 times happier than I ever have been.
So definitely one lesson that I would want to pass on to future generations is to always have empathy for others. I think that the world would be a much better place if we could all kind of take a minute to try to understand where other people are coming from and put ourselves in other people's shoes. And then after that, just kind of agree to disagree. Definitely, I think that when you take a minute to put yourself in another person's shoes, it kind of makes you realize other people have different circumstances than you. They've come from different places. They may not have been raised in the same way that you are. And then we're all a product of our environment. So it takes a lot to be able to take time out of your day for 5 seconds just to try to put yourself in another person's shoes so that you can understand where they're coming from. And so then it makes it easier for them to understand where you're coming from, because then you come to a place of understanding, and then everybody loves to be understood.
And I would pass on to future generations is to stay positive, and everything will work itself out, even if it doesn't seem like it. And that's it, I guess.
For future generations, I really just want them to know that the best way to meet people and get out of their comfort zone is to just be themselves. That's all you need to be in life to be happy and to get through, and never feel as though you're less of a person or you're not good enough to be yourself around others, because that's how people will get to know you and like you, rather than you trying to be someone you're not.
I think the most important lesson to pass down is to go with the flow in situations. You can't always plan everything out, and when you plan things out and it doesn't go the way you want, sometimes you get flustered and frustrated. So just going with, you're in this place you're supposed to be, so just keep going with it.
Love the planet and be very mindful of what you're doing to impact it.
I'll tell you one lesson I probably want to just pass on is just kind of don't underappreciate the value of making one person's day. It's amazing how much a smile can change. Just passing people in the hall and saying hi, or on campus, because I guess our halls are kind of big. But just kind of don't underappreciate that, where it might not make that big of a difference to you, but it can make all the difference to them. Just by making their day a little bit brighter, and then in return it kind of makes your day just a little bit brighter. So that's kind of cool to just pass along. Things like that just kind of spread, and it's such little things, literally Duke's hold doors, stuff like that. Just little things that maybe they're on their way to a test and they aren't even they aren't even in the same room, literally, like their mind's somewhere else. It's just little things that like they don't have to think about, just kind of comes second nature and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so the most important thing I would tell future generations is that you only have one life, so get the most out of it, cherish every single second, because you won't get any of it back. But with that being said, we only have one world, and we shouldn't take it for granted. There are a lot of things that we do currently that are kind of destroying the world, and hopefully people in the future will be able to combat that.
If there was a lesson I could pass on to future generations, it would probably be that it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to mess up. You know, flaws are 100% normal. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Kelly. One lesson that I'd like to pass on to the next generation is to always be yourself, always make independent decisions, but really focus on forming good relationships with the people around you. I think we live in such a digital world that sometimes, and competitive world, that sometimes we kind of get lost and we don't get to form good relationships, but ultimately those bonds are what's going to really get you through life and make life meaningful. And so that's what I would pass on.
Okay, one problem that I would like to teach future generations is how everyone should be media literate, because as a SMAD major, I feel like it's very diversifying, or it's dividing our country based off of like what people can tell as like true news and what people can't. And like going through my Facebook feed, I see stuff that I'm like, that was definitely targeted towards a certain kind of person, and that person sees it and believes it rather than knowing that it's not true. And I think that our country would be a lot more unified and would be happier and love each other more if we could tell what was real and what was definitely made to divide everyone.
Oh, hey, what's up? What's good, fam? It's your boy Bentley here. You know, just doing a little post-workout, you know, 'cause it's my like third time at UREC. It's like 10:30 a.m. Probably gonna go another twice today, so, you know, just working out, just reading that Constitution and everything. It's pretty lit, but like, you know how it is. I mean, see that? Who you're gonna call me later tonight? No, I'm just kidding. But for real, all right, I gotta go. Gotta finish the class, but see you guys around.
So a really important lesson that I recently was given this advice to was be kinder than you have to be. And I think this is something really important to pass on to future generations, because I think it's so easy to kind of just say what you think other people want you to say, or you know, just kind of, you know, react. And I think it's really important to just be kinder than you have to be, and always be open to new people and meeting new people. And yeah, I think that goes a long way regardless of what you're interested in or who you want to be around or what you want to do. So, yeah.
Are we good?
Oh yeah, go
sorry. Hi guys, I'm Basim Zouari, and one lesson I would like to pass on to future generations is inclusiveness. I have a little brother who has autism, and one big thing that I think in the case and the fight for inclusiveness is to start off with the little kids. And I feel like if we start with the little kids and start educating future generations, then we don't have to deal with adults who aren't inclusive. And yeah, inclusiveness.
Hi, I'm Caroline. One lesson I would pass on to future generations would be just to be kind to one another. My senior year of high school, a professor had us do a 1% movement where she challenged everyone to be 1% kinder every day. And I still keep that lesson with me, because I think it just makes you think about every interaction you have with people to make sure you're putting your best self forward.